There's too many people out there on social media and your friends and relatives and next door neighbor. Everybody has an opinion about when you should start your Social Security benefits. And some people use those particular situations as an example for when they should start Social Security benefits. But I can tell you that's not the correct way to do it. And Social Security, I worked there for a few decades. I ran the third busiest Social Security office in the country, and I know Social Security is not forgiving if you make the wrong decision at the wrong time. You, your family, your children, your spouses could have negative consequences and lose thousands, tens of thousands of dollars for the rest of their life. So I'm going to give you 6 reasons to file at particularly at 62 and maybe not file at 62. So each of these cases is your specific situation. Nobody can really tell you. They can tell you what they did, but then you just sit there and nod your head and say, okay, well, that's nice for you. But in my particular situation, this is the same for Social Security retirement benefits, spouse benefits, survivor benefits, Medicare plans. It is completely 100% tailored to your particular situation. So it's important that you know your questions that you need to ask yourself. All right. And because Social Security, there's exceptions to the exceptions, the exceptions on everything Social Security. I know I was in charge of the exceptions for decades, over 20,000 pages of policy. This is also going to be a live Q&A. So I'm going to talk about the questions, the 8 questions, and I'll throw a bonus in there that you need to ask yourself. And then at the end of that, today's topic should take about 10, 15 minutes, and then I'll open it up for questions for the rest of the 45 minutes. So if you're watching this and say, I can't stand an hour long video about this, no, it's not going to be an hour long video about today's topic. It's we're going to answer a bunch of questions as well. So if you got any questions, make sure you type them in the chat there, and we can definitely see if we can help you out. And make sure you're getting everything you're entitled to. All right. So the number one question you need to ask yourself out of the 8 plus a bonus is, some people just say, hey, I hate my job, or I'm tired of my job, and I have plenty saved, so I'm just going to bail. Remember, for Social Security, regular retirement benefits, spouse benefits, the earliest you can collect those is at 62 years old. If we're talking survivor spouse benefits, surviving spouse, surviving divorce spouse, widow's benefits, widow benefits, it's all the same. Those you can start at 60 years old. Obviously, disability can start at any time if you're disabled. But some people just say, hey, I want to wait till my full retirement age, or I want to wait till I'm 70, or whatever the case may be, but I just hate my job, or I'm tired of my job. I just want to bail, and I've got plenty of saved. So I'm just going to go ahead and start my benefits. And that is a good reason to do it, obviously. Another reason to go ahead and start receiving your benefits at 62 years old is auxiliaries. That's what Social Security calls. I'm a former Social Security employee, former manager, but Social Security call these auxiliaries. So basically, if you go ahead and file, so you say, well, I don't want to wait. I don't want to file at 62. I want to wait till I'm 67, but I have children under the age of 18 or that became disabled before the age of 22. That throws off all your calculations because you're going to say, well, if I wait till I'm 67, I'll get like $400 or $500 more a month. But the several years between then, your children or your spouse could receive benefits, and that will probably more than compensate for what you would be receiving if you waited till you're 67 or 70. It depends on the particular situation. You got to run those numbers. So your current spouse, this law changed in 2016, your current spouse can't collect benefits on your record until you file. Before 2016, you could do that, but they changed the law in 2016. And your children, again, under the age of 18 or disabled before the age of 22, cannot collect benefits on your record until you file. So that is a calculation that you need to take into consideration. Another is, if you go ahead and file for 62 as the spouse, this is called a split strategy. So if you're currently married and you've got a low wage earner and a higher wage earner, and the higher wage earner is going to continue working until they're 67 or 70 or whatever the case may be, and the lower wage earner's benefit is less than half of the higher, it's good to just go ahead and start the lower earning spouse, start it at 62. If they're not working. There is an annual earnings limit. This year it's $22,320. If you're under that, then you can go ahead and collect your Social Security benefits. But the lower earning spouse, if they're able to start their benefits at 62, and then you'll say, well, won't that reduce the benefit? Yes, it will reduce the benefit. But when the higher earning spouse goes ahead and collects, and if the lower earning spouse is at their full retirement age at that time, then it's just bumped up to 50% of the higher earning spouse. So that is called a split strategy. I did a video on that, a longer video to kind of discuss more of the details of that. So this is today's kind of an overview. Another reason to take your benefits early is health. You just are not that healthy. You've got some issues and you want to go ahead and get while the getting's good. And kind of to dovetail on that, your genes, your family genes, you may be super, super healthy, but everybody in your family doesn't have long, mortality, longevity. So that is a consideration you need to think about in terms of, should you wait till 70 when everybody in your family basically passes away at 70? I've seen too many cases that people, they come in and file at 67 and 70, and then unfortunately, leave us within a year or so. So that's something you definitely need to take into consideration. Number 6 is that you have other income and will invest your Social Security payments. So you can go ahead and take your Social Security benefits early. And when I talk about other income, if you're currently working and again earning over that $22,320, you cannot collect Social Security, or you can, but $1 for every $2 is going to be withheld. So other income is you've got other 401ks, savings, IRAs, whatever the case may be. So you've got plenty of income and you're good, and you want to go ahead. You don't necessarily want to wait till you're 67 because, if you get that money now, you're a better investor than Social Security, let's say. For Social Security, after you hit your full retirement age and up until you're 70, you get an 8% return on your investment. And you're like, well, I can do better than that. So if you can, more power to you. Go ahead and get your Social Security checks, invest it, make a lot more money than Social Security would have paid, and you're set. A big thing I'm seeing nowadays are expats. People are just basically leaving the country, expatriates. They are getting their benefits as early as they possibly can, and they don't have a whole lot of savings or other income or something like that, but they found somewhere else in the world that they can live far cheaper. So they take their Social Security benefits at the earliest possible time. Normally, that amount would never, sustain them in the United States, but in some place overseas, they can do that. So if you've got plans to be an expat, a lot of those take their benefits early. The question on expat is when it turns 65, what are they going to do with Medicare? And I've talked about that several times about Medicare Part A and Part B. The number one question that you need to ask yourself is, do you need the money now? I mean, that's the overriding question on pretty much all of this. If you're not working, or you're going to be under the annual earnings limit or as close as it possibly can, and you just need that extra, $500, $600, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, whatever your Social Security benefit is, you need that money, then that's probably the most important reason to go ahead and start it at 62, is just because, hey, I need the money to pay rent and all the rest of it. But remember, there is that annual earnings limit. I've talked about that several times on my videos, and again, live Q&A, because there's particular situations on everybody. And kind of the bonus, unfortunately, it's not too much of a bonus, but a lot of people are kind of worried, as I am, about the future of Social Security in terms of the trust fund. The trust fund is naturally going to disappear. It was intended to serve a purpose, to take care of the baby boomers. That purpose is essentially going to be ending 2034, 2035. It should have lasted a little bit longer, but anyway. And then current people working in 2034, 2035, 9 years away, not very far away, are only going to be able to pay about 70% of retirees. So you're looking at anywhere from a 17 or about 80%, 17 or a 20% cut of Social Security benefits. So only able to pay about 80%. I misspoke, not 70, 80%. So we're looking at anywhere in the next 9 years. If Congress doesn't do anything, well, more importantly, if we don't make Congress do something within the next few years, then that's what's going to happen. So a lot of people are saying, well, since Congress, and the political system never do anything good, I'm just going to go ahead and start my benefits now because it's going to be possibly cut within, another 9 years or so. So I'm a little bit more optimistic. I think we can make Congress do something that, other than, I did completely disagree with the full retirement age being increased, but there are other solutions I've talked about several times. All right, so those are the 8 reasons why you should file for benefits at 62. If you've got any other personal ones, make sure you type them in the comments there. But let's go ahead and start the Q&A, because there's particular situations. Everybody's a little bit different. Ed, when you're alive, we miss parts of the answers during the commercials. Can you please pause speaking? Yeah, I can't. Yeah, unfortunately. But when it's on recording, sorry about that. Yeah, I don't. YouTube is YouTube. What are you gonna do? But yeah, if you watch it on the recording later, it should pop up. Let's see here. Recently, I had my phone appointment with a specialist. So we're talking to a specialist at Social Security, and she pushed my application through without me asking my questions first. Now I am told I have to withdraw my application, and I only get one withdrawal. Yes, in that particular situation, yeah. So a one withdrawal, it's basically when you file for benefits and within 12 months you say, oops, I shouldn't have done that, then you can completely withdraw the application. And but you because you're withdrawing the application, now it's, though you've never filed an application, you have to pay all that money back. But Lee, if you did that recently, you haven't gotten money or anything like that, you just tell them, hey, you call that office, you talk to the supervisor, the technical expert, and say, hey, I never told the person to push the button. I never told the person to adjudicate the claim. It was their fault. Um, so but again, the withdrawal, yes, you can only do that one time, but that's, paying back the money and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if you wondered, you're considering doing that a second time. But yeah, if they did it incorrectly, you call them up and say, no, I did not want my benefits to start this month. I wanted it to start next month. Or I was just asking questions. Why did you adjudicate my claim? They should have never done that. Dr. Weir, my good friend just moved to Panama. Panama. Will his Medicare cover any medical expenses in that country? Only kind of emergency type stuff, but not really. No, Medicare really doesn't cover. I mean, there is some type of overseas beyond the United States. It's basically if you're like, visiting, uh, the border of Canada, but you're still in the United States, but the kind of you have some type of emergency, and the closest hospital is right across the border in Canada. That's kind of an exception. But in terms of overseas, unless you've got like a Medicare supplement plan that has some type of overseas coverage, then usually not. I applied for my adult disabled child survivor benefits, and they not showing the correct step on my account online, the process of the application process, and they won't give answer one. Yeah, the online thing, again, I always applaud Social Security trying to, kind of, make the system better, but the online system where it shows what step it is and all that, it's terrible. It's terrible. I always compare it to when you're downloading something on your phone or something, and it says 10% downloaded, 20% downloaded, and then all of a sudden it goes back to 10%, or it gets stuck at 30% for like an hour, and then it goes from 30% to 99%. It's kind of like that. So your case is probably at DDS. It's not at the local Social Security office. It's at the State Disability Determination Services. I would call them up and say, hey, how's it going? You just call up that number. You just type in Google disability determination services, whatever state you're in. It'll give you the phone number, and you just call it up and say, what's the name of my examiner for this particular case? They will give you that person's phone number. You say, hey, how's it going? Do you need anything else? Just checking in. Must someone sign up for Medicare at 65 even if they don't have enough credits to collect Social Security? Um, Technically, yes, in order to avoid the penalties. So if you don't have the 40 quarters of coverage, or your spouse doesn't, or you have a surviving spouse that you can get those from, you've got no other place to get those credits from, then you still technically have to sign up for it. Part A. because you don't have enough credits. You didn't pay enough Social Security enough. It's not zero premium like most people. It's what, over $400 or something. And then Part B is the $174. So Jasser's mom, besides contacting my senator, what else can I do? I don't get my first check on time. That's always to, call up the local Social Security office, or call another Social Security office. If the particular office you filed in is not giving you correct information or not answering your calls or whatever, call the 800 number, the national number, or call another office. They will be able to look into the system and see where your application is, where it's stuck. Um, if I would have asked my questions, I would have been interested in applying. I would be 62. Yeah, so just call them up, and that's second of another question there. Mark, can I lose my Medicare during request for reconsideration submitted tomorrow and second PC request submitted to Don? Oh, something about a bill or second bill or something like that. Yeah, if Medicare, if you don't pay the Part B premium, then you could very well lose it. Let's see here. Jim, when you collect, keep working to replace lower earnings years. Can you replace earnings after 70 years old? Absolutely. What Jim is talking about is basically, um, even after you collect Social Security benefits, if you continue to work and pay into Social Security, then Social Security automatically looks at those earnings every year when you file your taxes and the IRS notifies Social Security. It looks at your high 35 years of earnings. That's how it determines how much your retirement benefits and your survivor benefits and your spouse benefits and disability benefits and all that. Disability benefits a little bit different, but anyway, but it looks at your high 35 years of earnings. And if you're 90 years old and you had a really good year, and when Social Security gets that number, it looks at it and says, wow, Jim had an awesome year. We're going to kick out one of the low ones, stick in this new one, and recalculate. And that's 100% automatic. You don't have to do anything. So, yep. All right. Let me see. You got if I apply for SSR Social Security now, Social Security retirement, will they calculate income from the past year? My last work day was yes. Once you file your taxes, same thing I just talked about, Jim. There, yeah. Once you file your taxes, then absolutely, it's 100% automatic. So if you file, um, let's say, this year, and then your taxes haven't done yet, don't worry about it. Some people say, well, should I wait till my taxes are filed this year and then file? No, just go ahead and do it, and everything will be automatically updated. It's 100% automatic. It takes a little bit longer though. COLA increase happens starting January because the COLA is already out. A terrible COLA, 2.5%. But anyway, we won't go there. But that's easy. January, everybody's COLA will hit automatically. You don't have to worry about that. In terms of if you've got a new high 35 years of earnings, that takes a little bit longer because Social Security doesn't know until you tell your friends at the IRS what you made. So once you file your taxes and you tell the IRS what you made and paid into FICA and all that kind of good stuff, then the IRS notifies Social Security, and then Social Security does the calculations. So if Social Security doesn't get those numbers until after April, let's say they get it May, then if it turns out that it does increase your benefits, it'll never decrease your benefits. If it does increase your benefits, then they'll pay you that money going all the way back to January. So in May, you might get an extra, benefit for, several months because of the recalculation. So that's 100% automatic, and you don't have to do anything other than file your taxes with your friends at the IRS, right? Friends, anyway. While waiting for SSDI approval, so Social Security Disability Insurance approval, can you make between 1110 and 1550? And if so, would they go back and use those months you earned as your ticket to work month? So yeah, as long as you're under your substantial gainful activity, which is the $1,550, then you're good. Once you're approved for benefits, they might use those as kind of a trial work period. It depends, how far they go back in terms of retroactivity for your disability when they determine your EOD, your established onset date for your disability. But yeah, if you're over, if you're under 1550 this year, then you're good. If you go over that, they can write it off as a UWA, an unsuccessful work attempt, where you're like, I really don't want to collect disability. I'm trying to work as best as I can. I was able to do it 1 month and I, made $1,800 that month, but that really just killed me and I wasn't able to do it. So I went back to, I reduced my hours. And then, Social Security kind of likes that, that they're seeing that, you're trying. And you're just not able to do it because of your disability. So they can just write off that higher one as an unsuccessful work attempt. So make sure, stay under the 1550 while you're waiting for your disability to improve. Yeah, that's always the best thing. Um, all right, let's see. Jim, is there any other strategy of still working but not making enough combined because you collected at 62? I mean, there's 3 ways to increase your benefits, kind of to spend your benefits, that is. You can, as I talked about, you can completely withdraw your application within 12 months. You got to pay everything back. If you are filing, you're receiving your Social Security benefits, and gonna, you thought you were going to stay under the $22,320, but you need more money, or you got an offer for a better job. There's a few ways you can do that. You can just say, "Hey, I'm only going to be $2 or $3 or $4 or $5,000 over. Sure, Social Security is going to send me a nasty gram next year once I file my taxes, and they're going to say, Jim, you're a bad boy. You made $5,000 more than you told us, and you went $5,000 over the annual earnings limit. So you owe us $2,500. So you can kind of anticipate that and put that money away, or you can set up a payment plan, interest-free payment plan next year. Some people do that. Or if you're going to go way over, you just call Social Security and say, hey, suspend my benefits because I'm going to make $60, $70, $80,000 this year. And they'll suspend your benefits. And another way to suspend your benefits is once you hit your full retirement age, you can do what's called voluntary delayed retirement credits, where you can just voluntarily stop your benefits to get that 8% per year increase up until you're 70 years old. So those are kind of 3 ways that a lot of people unfortunately don't know. And they're kind of, 62, 63, 64, and think they're stuck and they can never do anything, which is incorrect. Anthony, good evening. I became disabled at 62. I now receive Social Security disability at 63, just retired at 65. It will turn into Social Security. No, it's usually not necessarily 65. It's your full retirement age. But if, so there's certain things you need to do because you're on disability. You just turned 65. This is the time where you can pick any Medicare plan that you want. So a lot of people that receive disability under 65 in their particular state, all they can get is Medicare Advantage, and they don't like the prior authorizations. They don't like the networks. They would rather get a Medicare supplement, but it wasn't available to under 65. But now you're 65, you can get anything you want. You can't be denied, no health underwriting. So you can get a plan N or a plan G, or maybe even a plan F, but usually to N or a G. And they can't charge you extra, and they can't deny you for any pre-existing conditions. So I would definitely check that out. And if you need help, let me put my little thingy on there. I've partnered with, let's see, yes, I partnered with Chapter Advisory, and they look at every single plan in your area. So if you need help, just reach out to them and they can help you out. And look at all the plans in your area and see if a Medicare supplement plan is right for you. It's not for everybody. There's a monthly premium, but you don't have prior authorizations. You don't have networks. So there's that. Let's see. Did I answer all your questions? And let me finish the question on Anthony here. And then, so that's Medicare. That's something you need to do at 65 because you're on Medicare. You have more options. A lot of people forget about those other options, and then, come back here when they're 67 and 68 and say, Ed, how come you didn't tell me I had other options at 65 and I wasn't stuck in the plan I had? I just told you. But once you hit your full retirement age, your Social Security disability is just automatically, it's a bureaucratic thing. It's switched to regular retirement benefits. Your check stays the same and everything. It's just, you're no longer technically on disability, but no more continuing disability reviews, no more work limitations. You can do whatever you want. You're free. Will they cut the people already collecting? About in 9 years. Yeah, it's across the board cuts anywhere from 17 to 20%. And this is not some political thing. This is the hard and fact numbers. You just look at, you type in the Social Security trustees report, and that's exactly the actuaries and the bean counters at the Social Security. That's what they calculated, and they did congressional testimony, and everybody knows that's what's going to happen. And again, it's the trust fund. The trust fund was set up for a purpose, and it's going to become empty. And there's been several trust funds throughout U.S. history, throughout Social Security history, and that's kind of the nature of the trust fund. But we need to do something, and my recommendation is to smash the cap. But I've talked about that many, many times. Gabriella, if I separated from my ex-husband a few months before the 10 years of marriage, but divorce was official after the 10 years of marriage, am I still available for divorce benefit? Yep, absolutely. Social Security doesn't care about, well, we weren't living together, we weren't talking, or we living on other sides of the house, or whatever the case may be. They don't care. It's what the documents show. And when you file for divorce spouse benefits, I've done this hundreds of thousands of times. I request the marriage certificate and divorce decree, and if it's 10 years, it's 10 years, and doesn't matter where you were living or anything like that. No issues whatsoever. So, yep, no problem. Go for it. All right, let's see. Please explain Medicare Essence. Not sure what Medicare Essence is. Is that some type of fragrance? Medicare is coming out to save the trust fund. I wanted to say thank you for doing this channel for us and doing it live for a question and answer. Say, wow, I learned so much about different topics just by listening to what everyone's situation is. Lisa, thank you very much. Thank you for the nice note. And Lisa, most important thing is all that information, you are now a walking resource. You are a hero to your community. So go out there, and I know there's someone around you that's not getting the benefits they're entitled to. And now you can help them, and they will be forever grateful to you. Peter, I am the higher earner spouse, which now I am a widow. My wife passed away and she was low, and and I am on disability. I have about 2 years before I reach the 67. What do you think? Yeah, if you're the higher earning spouse, and you're currently receiving those higher benefits, then yeah, it's a um, okay. Here's a strategy. If you're on disability, um, you can actually you will be automatically switched to regular retirement benefits at your full retirement age, 67. So you were born in 1960 or after. So you can technically stop your benefits at 67, so you can get those delayed retirement credits and let your benefits increase, add another 24% to those benefits, and go on to the survivor benefits from your wife. If you can, live for 3 years on that lower amount, that is a strategy. So you suspend your benefits. It's called voluntary delayed retirement credits. Nobody does it because nobody knows about it. And some people, a lot of people just can't afford to, get their benefits stopped. But in your case, it's something to think about. So you stop your benefits at your full retirement age, let yours increase, and then for the year, 2 years, or 3 years, you just collect survivor benefits. So not sure if you're able to survive on that, but that is an option. So just throwing them out there. I have another appointment with a specialist. How can I get a specialist like you? Yeah, I don't work there anymore. You can go to my office. I trained all the people, 100 employees in my office. Somebody emailed me yesterday and says, yeah, this specialist told me this, that, the other, and in this particular office, and it happened to be the office I ran. And I'm like, well, I know that guaranteed that they told you the correct information, which it was the correct information. So I was so happy to hear my former employees are still doing an awesome job. Jim, I forgot to ask, is it just Social Security that could be cut, or also Medicare? In terms of monthly benefits, yeah, obviously the Social Security money is going to be cut if we don't do anything. In terms of Medicare, Medicare Part A is it's the trust fund for Medicare, and that's an issue right now. It's zero premium. Medicare Part B is good because that's self-funded. So if they need more money for Part B, they just raise which they do every year, the Part B premium. This year $174. We don't know what it is going to be next year yet, but yeah, I mean, Part A, they need to do something on Part A. So they might, raise, right now it's 20%. If for Part B, if you go and have a surgery and the surgery costs $100,000, you're on the hook for $20,000, 20% of that. So maybe in the future they might say you're on the hook for 30% of that, or whatever the case may be. So we have to make sure the politicians do the right thing. And a lot of politicians are just kind of stalling. They're saying, "Hey, there's not a perfect solution, so let's not do anything." That's their plan, is to just stall, stall, stall until we get to the edge of the precipice. And then they say, well, I guess the only thing we do is raise y'all's retirement age to 80 years old or some crazy thing like that. So if you hear people stalling like that, you know exactly what's going on. Can you earn 2 credits per year for 6, 7 years and then apply for disability, or do I need to earn 4 per year? For disability, you need 2 insurance statuses. You need to be insured. That means you need to pay into Social Security and have the 40 quarters of coverage, the 10 years. If you're younger, less. And you also need to be currently insured. That means you worked 5 out of the last 10 years. So out of the last 10 years, you worked 5 of those. It doesn't have to be consecutive or anything like that. So if you're wondering whether you are insured and or currently insured, then file a claim. Those calculations are kind of wonky, and particularly the DLI, the date last insured, and let the people do their job and figure out whether you're currently insured. So I would just go ahead and apply. Absolutely. Pearl Diver, thank you for helping out all of us. Question: my 2023 taxes were filed on extension. I would like to claim Social Security benefits, but the earnings report has not updated to current apply rate. Apply. Yep. And once you file those to the IRS, if it was last year or whatever like that, Social Security will automatically go in there and throw that into your high 35 years of earnings. So if you want to go ahead and apply, don't let that stop you. Go for it. It'll be calculated. It'll be automatically re-added in there. So no problem. Vicky, I'm 64 and I just became disabled. I'm no longer working. I want to apply for retirement and disability. Vicky, wow, she is educated. However, if I have available funds, do I need to wait before applying? Nope. Funds, how much money you have is not relevant to you, because it doesn't sound like you're going to be filing for SSI, Supplemental Security Income, which is the welfare-based program. Well, you will, because anytime you apply for disability benefits, they always address both programs, as we call it. They address SSDI, which is the Social Security Disability Insurance, which you actually paid for FICA, and they also address the SSI, Supplemental Security Income, the welfare-based program. So they'll ask you, do you want to apply for the welfare-based program? And you say, no, I've got more than $2,000 of resources. So, okay, and they send you a denial letter that you're not entitled to that. No big deal. But so your money that you have is not an issue. But yeah, what Vicky is talking about is a lot more people need to do this, is because Social Security is so understaffed, that it's taking 6 to 9 months to get a decision on your disability, on your initial disability. And people just can't live for 6 or 9 months without money coming in. So they go ahead and file for retirement and disability. It's called a RIB-DIB, retirement insurance benefits and disability insurance benefits. They file at the same time. They get their retirement check coming in while they're waiting for their disability to be approved. So that is a strategy more people need to be aware of. So Vicky, yep, you go for it. Absolutely go for it. SSA won't schedule an appointment. Need to get an ex-spouse estimate of benefits. They said I need to walk in. Yeah, most offices, because they're so understaffed, the actual claim specialists, they are, way backed up. Even if you got an appointment, it probably won't be till like next month or something. So they are very backed up. So if you're looking, if you want to file a claim, then yes, no problem. They can schedule an appointment. But you're not going to be filing a claim, or if you have what's called a PE issue, which is a postal entitlement, you're already receiving benefits and you've got some other issue that you need to address, then yeah, 99.9% of the offices don't schedule appointments for something like that. So unfortunately, you'll just need to walk in. And because you're looking for an ex-spouse, you also need to prove that you have some type of relationship with that ex-spouse. So you just can't go in there and says, yeah, I want to see if, Joe Smith, how much I can get from that person. And they're not just going to give you that person's private information. So you'll have to go in there with some type of marriage certificate and divorce decree to prove that you were married to that person for 10 years or longer. So, or you were married to them when they passed away. Just learned that the insurer I was ready to go with on my Plan G will not cover pre-existing conditions for 6 months. Is this common? Yes. Um, yeah, that's pretty commonish. I don't know why they do that. It seems asinine if you ask me. But there's so many different exceptions. So I would reach out to the person that signed you up, enrolled you in that, and if you just did it, maybe you can move to another one. Maybe you find a cheaper plan. So if I need help, call my partners there. They look at every single plan in your area. They don't charge anything, and see if they'll give you other options. Chrissy, if I continue to work at 62, let me get rid of that thing at the bottom. Some people don't like it. Thing playing and playing and playing and playing. All right. If I continue to work at 62 and make over a specific dollar amount, do I not qualify to receive Social Security because I'm still working? Yeah, they basically put your, if you earn over the $22,320, Social Security will hold back $1 for every $2 you go over. The first year you apply, when you first apply, they can switch it to a monthly limit. So if you wanted to start your benefits this month in October, but you made $1 billion up until September, doesn't matter. They don't count that. They only look at what you're going to do starting when you start your checks, October, November, December. Are you going to be under $1,860 for the rest of the year? Yes. Okay, we can start your benefits in October. Next year, you have to stay under the annual earnings limit. Yep. Jake turned 62 on December 31st. Can I notify Social Security of my estimated earnings for 2025 if I file for benefits using the online portable, or do I have to do it in person at Social Security office? Yeah, you can estimate. So I don't know what you're estimating because you want to go ahead and start your benefits. Well, you can't start your benefits till January anyway because you have to be 62 the entire month. So you were born on the 31st, so you're entitled. You can start your benefits in January, and your first check will come in February. But next year, you have to stay under the annual earnings limit for next year, which is. I just did a video on this with the COLA. This is this is a Social Security cheat sheet, fact sheet. It's got all of the details of how much the Social Security max is and full retirement age and COLA and all that kind of good stuff. So next year, you're limited to $23,400. So as long as you're under that, you tell them that you're going to stay under the $23,400. You're good. They can start your benefits. If you go over that, then they might hold back 1, 2, 3, or 4 or 5 months of benefits, depending on how much you go over. But in terms of your earnings, you can tell them whatever you want in terms of the high 35 years. They won't use that as a calculation because those are just estimates. Once you file your taxes, then your benefits will be automatically adjusted. So you don't have to worry about that. You answered my question several times before reading it. Somebody says, yes, that's what happens when you do this a million times. So I always, when I did, in the old days, before Corona, COVID and everything like that, when, used to be able to go to the Social Security office and talk to people face to face. When you take retirement claims and disability and survivor claims and everything like that, you take them, millions of times. What people are going to ask before they even open up their mouth. So I always kind of, all right, Ed, don't jump in there and answer the question before they ask it. Let them ask the question and, be polite. But I already knew what the questions they were going to ask. So I don't see the face-to-face right here. Y'all jump all over the place, which I like. This is, I love helping y'all out. So applying early at 62, divorced, doesn't the split still lower ex-spouse and survivor benefits? I was told it would decrease for life. Yes, If you file for benefits early and you have a spouse, um, then it won't affect the living spouse benefits, because the living spouse's benefits is based on your full retirement age benefit amount, the primary insurance amount. But yes, if anything should happen to you, their benefit is based on sometimes when you file for those benefits, or if you file for those benefits. Yes, survivor benefits is a little bit different, calculated different. So yes. Jeff, when deciding when to start collection of Social Security, either at 62 or full retirement age, would you consider the financial break-even point? Yeah, yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of people out there, particularly there's a company out there, they charge like $400 or $500 for, to kind of go over your Social Security and stuff. And I've seen the results of those, and it's not worth $400 or $500. They always get the calculations wrong. I've seen that thousands of times, because they don't know your particular situation. You know, so the easiest way to do it, you can just do it yourself. So you put in how much you're going to get at 62. So if you get $1,000 at 62, and you say, I'm going to kick the bucket at 75. So you do $1,000 times however many months of checks between 62 and 65. And you come up with a big number. And then, well, not a super big number, but then you say, okay, if I take my benefits at 65, 67, and I still pass away at 75, here's how much money I'm going to get. So you just look at those two pots of money, and then you take all other things being equal, as they say in economics, and then make your decision. So all the mathematical graphs, if you're so inclined for all the long division and stuff like that, go for it. But I've never seen anybody, yeah, that really, but I don't know. So it's pretty easy to figure it out. And then there's another way to do it too. You just take what your benefit amount, what you make the difference. If you start your benefits, this month, and it's $1,000. If you start your benefits next year, it's 1,100. But you just say, okay, well, but I'm going to miss, if I wait for a year, I'm going to miss $12,000 worth of checks for a $100 benefit. So you take the 12,000 divided by 100, and you're like, it usually comes out to 14 years. So you'll break even in 14 years. So that's another way of doing it too. So you can do it yourself. Don't pay somebody $400 for those calculations. Yeah. Let's see. Lisa, does Social Security send out a decision letter after sending in completed short form 455 CDR, providing you are one of the ones they truly check? Lisa, yeah, I think I saw your question like that in my YouTube comments, and thank you for coming over here and asking that again. The continuing disability reviews, Social Security, one thing they do really, really well is stress people, particularly people on disability. And the number one stressor is continuing disability reviews. I've done several videos on this. Lisa, don't sweat yourself. If you've got a disability, you've got your disability conditions, you've got your doctor's appointments and your prescriptions and your side effects from prescriptions. Disability doesn't pay very much, so you probably have financial issues. Please don't stress the CDRs. When you get it, fill it out to the best of your knowledge, make a copy of it, return it, and please forget about it again. Just forget about it. Because, if they go through the whole thing, yes, they will send you a decision letter. But 50, 60, 80% chance they won't do anything, because it's a budget issue. There's quotas for particular offices. They only have so much budget in each office and each DDS statewide to do it, and staffing and all this other kind of stuff. So that's not something you need to get involved in staffing and congressional allocations for, trust fund issues. Just fill it out and please just go on with your life. So, yeah. I'm currently working but not paid into Social Security since 2012. I pay into retirement system only. Will Social Security benefit be reduced to current income? So you are WEP, windfall elimination provision. So your non-covered pension will affect whatever Social Security benefit you're receiving. And if you're talking about you're also above and beyond that going to file early, then yes. If that money that you're making is over $22,320, then Social Security will hold back $1 for every $2 you go over. Lori, if the opportunity came up to earn more at work after beginning big benefits before full retirement age, is that a one-time option, or is it temporarily suspending benefit payments a one-time thing? No, you can do a work report anytime. Once you do it, it's kind of locked in. So if you call up and say, hey, I'm going to make $60,000 this year, then they're going to, hold back $1 for every $2 you go over. And then next year, they're going to assume you're going to make the same $60,000. So they're going to continue to stop your benefits until you call them up and say, yeah, that didn't work out. I'm going to go back to making, whatever, whatever. So, Gabriella, thank you, Ed. You're welcome. You're welcome. Will my junior kids get benefit if I retire at 62? Yeah, if you have children under the age of 18 and you file for retirement benefits or disability benefits and you're approved, then yes, they are entitled to 50% of your primary insurance amount. There's a family max. If you have like 10 kids that are not all got 50%, there's a max that can be paid out. But yeah, if your children under 18, they'll get benefits. If they became disabled before the age of 22, they can get benefits for the rest of their life if they're still disabled. The benefits will stop at 18 automatically, but if they're still in high school, they will continue. So yeah, when you file for benefits, make sure you tell the person that you're filing with the Social Security, tell them that you have kids, and they'll take an application for those as well. So they'll take your application, and then you said kids plural, so another application for one kid, another application for the other kid. And if they're too young to take care of their own benefits, they'll also take what's called a representative payee application to make you or their mother, father, or whatever, the representative payee for those funds. So 2 calls into Henderson, Nevada SSA, 2 wrong answers. Can I make an appointment with them to get estimate of ex-spouse benefits? They said no. Yeah, no, you can't do an appointment with them, unfortunately. Yeah. Daryl. Hey, Daryl. He's in charge. He's the district manager of that particular office. So, yeah. Yes, I know that office intimately. That wasn't the office I ran, but pretty close. But yeah, for an ex-spouse benefits, you have to go down there and prove that you are, you need that information. If you're close enough, here's a trick. Don't tell Daryl I told you this. But if you're close enough, if you're 55 years old, you can't set up an appointment because they're saying you can't set up an appointment because you're 55 years old. But if you're, 62 years old, or if it's a survivor's, claim and you're 60 and you're eligible because of your age, then you can just set up an appointment and, and then set up an appointment and go down there and get all the answers you want. You have to provide your marriage certificate and divorce decree to prove, you're eligible to get that information. And then you just say, oh, okay, now I can plan better. I don't want you to adjudicate my claim. I don't want to start benefits. I just wanted a more definitive number, and the number you gave me is not enough. It looks like I'm going to be making more if I wait. And yeah, so that's a trick. So don't tell them I told you that, because that'll fill up their appointment calendar. And so, but hey, that's their job. Can a surviving spouse get survivor benefits from Social Security and also get VSI benefits from husband's time in Mallory? Not sure what VSI benefits, and not sure what Mallory is. Just to add, is this part of? I just turned 62 and would like to retire, but need to claim both Social Security and retirement benefits. Social Security is retirement benefits. Not sure what that means. So if the trust fund makes across the board cuts, it's not the trust fund, it's just Social Security. Do you think claiming Social Security at the earliest as possible would be more financially beneficial in the long run? Yeah, if Social Security makes the cuts, if the politicians force Social Security because they don't do the right thing to cut, then yes, it is beneficial to take your benefits as early as possible before the cuts come in. But being an old Marine Corps sergeant, always optimistic. I think we can make our politicians do the right thing, and by the right thing is not increasing this, retirement age or cutting. I think we need to raise the cap. Right now, I'm sure everybody on here pays every penny they earn, a percentage of that into FICA, which is Social Security. But if you're on here and if you make over $168,000, everything over $168,600, you don't pay Social Security FICA tax on. So if you make $1 million, you only pay it up to 168,000, and all the other $900,000 is FICA tax free, and that's the issue. That's where we're getting. So if we raise that cap, then we'd be good. But those are rich people, and they don't want to do that, and they control the politics. Well, okay, I'm gonna stop there. You all know the rest. Wife and I doing split plan for Social Security. Okay, wife took it 63. I'm waiting to 68 and a half or longer. Wife got normal deposit and an additional second deposit from Social Security for $9. No explanation yet. For an extra $9, and so it's not a Medicare type issue. Got another one for $9. Wow, that's so it's so you're, yeah, split strategy. That's exactly what I'm talking about. A split strategy. The lower earning spouse is reduced, and then when the higher earning spouse, he files at 68 and a half, then she files for benefits on his record, and if she's her full retirement age at that time, she gets exactly 50% of his benefit minus her own. That extra $9, it just might have been a kind of a delayed. They usually add it to the next one, unless the computer system, they've updated the computer system a little bit. So probably she worked last year and it wasn't added in there when she filed, and then that leftover year was added in there. That's the only thing I can really think of. But yeah, usually they add that to the next check, but that might be it. But it should say on there, you should receive a letter. Usually you receive the direct deposit first, because that's quicker, and then you receive the snail mail with the letter that says, oh yeah, we paid you another $9 because y'all were so nice when you came in and so polite, and so we decided to give you a $9 tip or something. I don't know. I signed up for survivor benefits June 24. I spoke to a C2, Title II CS, okay, CS in August. No money or letter. Been told both times 30 days for my money. Who should I speak to? So survivor benefits. I'm full retirement age July, and the C2, my fraud. So July. Yeah, that's way too long. So I would call the office and find out what's going on. If that particular claim specialist is not picking up the phone, ask to speak to the supervisor and find out what's going on. Or you can call the 800 number. They can look at it remotely and find out where it is in the status, whether it's just sitting on somebody's desk. And that should tell you what's going on with it. And if push comes to shove, then you just have to reach out to your congressional representative and go onto their website, and it'll say, I need help with a federal agency. And please, I'm going to start saying this every single time. Whenever you have an issue and you need to contact your senator or congressperson or whatever for a particular issue, always add on there, please, what are you doing, my political representative, to improve the customer service at the office in your jurisdiction, down the street from your office? What are you doing to improve that? And yes, so we need to hold these people accountable. I will be full retirement age March 2025 and work full time now. I want Social Security to start March without Part B. We'll work through 2025. Can I submit an application online without Part B? Absolutely. Yep. So Part A will be automatic because you're receiving benefits. Once you sign up for benefits and you're 65 or more, Part A is automatic, but that's zero premium. But yeah, you just decline B. So you can do, there's different variations. You can, you can just sign up for Part A and forget about Part B and forget about the money, or you can sign up for Part A and B and money and all of them, or you can do what you're doing is just sign up for Part A and the money and refuse B, because you have health insurance from work and your employer has 20 or more employees. So you don't have to sign up for Part B. Don't waste your money. All right. Let's see here. I collected disability at 55. I did not collect under my ex-husband of 30 years as mine paid more. Now that I'm 73, can I also file under his number and have that added to my current check? If there's more money there, but it doesn't sound like it was even more at that time. But I'm not sure. That was many years ago, and the benefits were not more than yours many years ago, but maybe that's changed. Maybe he worked more. his benefit increase, COLA. So I would call Social Security and say, hey, just checking in again. Is my ex-husband's benefit amount more than mine? And it's different if, if he was alive and kicking at that time, it would, yours, his have to be double yours. But if he has since passed away, then it could be $1 more. So whatever, it's up to 100%. So I would definitely call Social Security and just ask him. So you'll need to, if you don't have the Social Security number, no big deal. Just tell them the person's name, the date of birth, as well as know where they were born, and they'll be able to look up Social Security number, and they'll tell you within 2 seconds, no, your benefit amount is higher, and you can go on with your life. Are we able to have a phone call appointment with a Social Security specialist out of state? Yeah, yeah. And Social Security hates. I know they hate when I say this, but yeah, every building in the country has a sign out there that says Social Security Administration. So every building in the country, every Social Security office in the country is your office. So if you want to do it someplace, if you're filing for disability, you should stay in your local office, because the state disability determination service, you don't want to do the transfer. But in terms of retirement, survivor benefits, spouse benefits, yeah, you can do it anywhere. But they'll give you a hard time. This is not your office. Your office, according to your Social Security, is some other office, and you just thought, well, that's tough. Take my claim. So that's why my office was a third visit office in the country, because we had a bunch of retirees, plus we were awesome. My staff was awesome. Yes, I have the divorce decree and marriage certificate in hand. Perfect. Go down there and do it to it. Okay, we're running up the clock here. Let me answer some. Roxanne, when I retire, I will get my husband's Social Security, but I will only be 65. Will it change when I'm 67? No, basically, yeah. Once you file for benefits, early retirement like that, then it'll pretty much stay the same. You'll get the COLA increases, obviously, but yeah. Can you collect Social Security if you are still working and are over 65? Is there a reason not to postpone? If you're still working, you just have to stay under the annual earnings limit. This is the year is the $22,320. Anything over that, Social Security holds back $1 for every $2 you go over. Joy, my ex, who I was married to for over 10 years, passed away at 59. I'm not sure if he collected any disability. If he did, does that affect my silver benefit amount? No, no, because he was 59, he didn't file for early retirement, so that won't affect your survivor benefits. Disability is considered not filing, because that's disability, it's not retirement. So yeah, no, you're good. The only thing that will affect your survivor benefit calculation is your age. Kathleen, I certainly enjoy your show and all the wonderful advice you give it. You're welcome. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's see. All right, we're going to do a couple more questions. Let's see, people I've never seen before. My son is 100% PNT with the VA. He has a hard time keeping a job as a result of those issues. Can he get Social Security as a result of those problems? I would definitely 100% tell him to file. It's not an automatic thing, because the VA has different eligibility requirements for disability. I had a lot of veterans, and I'm an old Marine Corps sergeant, and I had a bunch of veterans in my office that were receiving several, different percentages of disability. For the VA, they were disabled, but for Social Security, it's all about work. So if your son is not working or is making under the substantial gainful activity, which is $1,550, please, please, please tell him to file for benefits. And I did some videos on that. Let me pop them up there real quick. So I did 3 videos that kind of get into all the details of the process, how to file, common mistakes, frequently asked questions, and stuff like that. So hopefully you see those. Those are the thumbnails for those particular videos. And those are the videos. So watch those videos, and please, yeah, help him to file for benefits. And the VA, how much he receives from the VA won't affect his Social Security or disability benefits at all. They're, no relevance whatsoever. Let's see here. I recently started receiving SSDI, lost my Medicaid, and can't get Medicare for 2 years. I know personally 2 different people that received Medicare when they got there. Yeah, if you're not 65, okay, yeah, so you're receiving, yeah, I wish this wasn't so. For right now, you can get Medicare at 65. If you're on disability, for some crazy reason, you have to wait 2 years for your Medicare to start. We need to change that. If you're approved for disability and start getting money, I believe your Medicare should start immediately. So, all right, let's see here. Let me got other people I don't recognize here. Don't think I've seen this person here. I'm trying to get new answers here, or not new answer, new people. Can we still call your old partners, or do we have to call the new ones? I always share your videos. P.S. Are you avoiding my name on purpose? Yeah, probably. uh, Anastasio Escamilla. Yeah. All right. Anyway, um, yeah, the old partners are fine. The reason I switched to a new one is because just of the onslaught, because all of the changes for 2025, I needed, more capacity. And the new partner that I use, Chapter Advisory, they are, yeah, they've, they're really, really good. So I switched for a reason. But yeah, whichever one you're good with, they will definitely help you out. All right, let's see here. What to do if a Social Security specialist gave incorrect information? How to talk to the specialist to maximize benefits? I found out I'm eligible, and the specialist at the time said I wasn't. Who do I speak to? Yeah, if whatever someone at Social Security tells you, words coming out of their mouth, no relevance. It's when you actually get the letter. So if you got a letter, a decision letter that says you were not entitled and a full claim was taken, then, and if you disagree with that, then you can file a reconsideration. It's the SSA 561 is the form. But if someone just told you something, then, says, okay, well, that's nice. I want to go ahead and file a claim. And they'll say, well, you'll be denied. Okay, that's fine. I want the denial letter. So you have to, go through the process, get it, and then you get the denial letter. And if you disagree, then do a reconsideration there. But if someone just tells you something, if someone you called 3 months ago and someone said you're not entitled to it, and then you go in tomorrow and you file for those benefits and you say, hey, I wanted those benefits to start 3 months ago, and I would have started 3 months ago if you gave me the correct information. So they can backdate your application and start your money 3 months ago if you still want to do that. So it's called a protective filing. All right, we are unfortunately out of time again. Um, so I'll be back again tomorrow and answer some more questions. So if I missed you today, I apologize. Cut and paste your question. Come back tomorrow. Pop it up first thing. I'll be back 3 o'clock West Coast time, 6 o'clock East Coast time, and I have a topic of the day. And then once I get through the topic of the day, I'll help you all out. Have a beautiful day.